Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks Haymakers. I am your boy Bodkins, and of course, I'm always joined by your boy Wit and Mr. Bobby Blunt. Gentlemen, last week we looked at the year that was 2024. Tonight we got another jam-packed show. Tonight we'll look at the year that is, make some predictions for the year of 2025. Plus, we'll take a little peek sees at this Apex card, first card of the year for the UFC. Pretty much first card of anything, I guess, of the year. So this Saturday, live at the glorious Apex. I thought they were shutting that shit down. We were leaving that behind in 2024, but I don't think so. It looks like we're going to have a couple more events in the old Apex. But nonetheless, Wit, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm great. A big Wednesday. What is this? The second official Wednesday of the month. So of course we're looking forward to a few things. Funny story, guys. So I don't know if you guys, I know you guys are further out west. I don't know if you guys know anything about Ollie's, okay? But out here in the South, Ollie's is like the bargain basement. Anything is in there. Who knows how much it costs? It's cheaper. But I'm in Ollie's, and the last time I was there, Christmas time, I talked to a guy. I asked him about some toys, and I'm talking about the show. I get in there. He's putting up kitty litter. He's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about 311? Y'all doing the show?" I was like, "Oh man, don't worry. We're gonna do the 311 show." So of course, I'm excited about the first pay-per-view coming up this week. That's completely, well, not this week, but next week. That's crazy stacked. But I'm definitely excited to go ahead and get this first event going on for 2025.
Bobby, what about you, man? How you doing this evening?
Good, had about all I could take of the hiatus. It really didn't hit me until, the last week because, I prepped for the end of the year show and stuff. But looking forward to seeing some people get punched in the face, even if it is in the Apex. And kind of interested to see if we see any of those renovations they claim to be doing or if, that was all bullshit they were doing in the cafeteria. But
yeah, true that.
Should be a pretty decent night of fights, definitely a card to appreciate when you haven't had fights for like 4 weeks. So, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with we'll start with just kind of doing some predictions, and then we'll talk about some of our key storylines of 2025 that we're looking to, and maybe we'll kind of go to each division and look at some fights that we want to see made. Let's start with our breakout fighter of the year prediction. Wait, who could be your the breakout fighter of 2025?
The crazy thing is, man, the breakout fighter for 25 in my mind is someone that we started to get a feel for last year. We saw him make a couple appearances. We saw him step into a fight. We got a chance to really see his like a lot of his game take shape. You know what I mean? He's exciting. He's a knockout artist, but he could take you on the ground. He could do it. He could fight you off his back. I'm thinking Diego Lopez, to be honest with you.
That was last year's breakout fighter of the year. You gonna have him 2 years in a row?
Yeah, but he can't be this year. Who knows? But all right, outside of Diego Lopez, because that's just me being me. Okay. In reality,
that was your breakout fighter in 2024. That was your guy that you picked last week.
I still like him to be breaking out. He's got way more room to improve. I got two names on my list, and but like I said, once again, still Diego Lopez, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. But in terms of if there's a second guy to still do some more breaking out, we might as well just go ahead and put Joaquin Buckley out there. I mean, in my mind, he's already did 4 fights last year. What's he going to do to top that in 2025? Diego Lopez is my first answer because I'm looking dead at my paper. I'm kind of cheating. But second person on there, Joaquin Buckley. 2024 was his year to shine, take over a whole division after he went down in a weight class. Is it a possibility that he can go even further and possibly be a contender in 2025? I think so.
Ooh, that's off to a. I don't really. I think both those guys were breakouts this year, not two guys that I got that were on my radar for 2025.
You want some really undercover, low key? We didn't talk about them yet, guys. Oh, okay, go ahead. Now,
I mean, that's the whole point of breakout. That's the whole point of breaking out. The people are gonna learn their name. Yeah, you're like, you know what? Alex Pierre, breakout fighter of the year. John Jones.
Guys, okay, go ahead. Let me see what's Bobby got. Who you got, Bobby? What you got?
Bobby, please save us from Witt's craziness already.
You know, I could take this in a few different ways. I have a few different down. You know, we were talking in last week's episode how impressed we were with the Fighting Nerds camp and everything they're getting done. And because of that, one of my main breakout fires of the year, I think, will be John Silva. You know, he very well, if the activity stayed up, he probably could have been in the conversation for last year. You know, he had that vicious walk-off knockout and stuff. And I know he's been trying to get more fights and stuff going. So if he can, you know, get at least 3 fights or something and, you know, stay healthy and compete, I think he can really set up the cards to kind of be ready to break through in that division come the end of the year.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Fluffy Hernandez. That was kind of be a guy that I had like kind of as maybe my number 3. Now this guy could have been. I don't really know if he broke out yet, but he's going to break out. He went 4-0 last year in the UFC, and I think he's got a fight coming up, and I think he could. Maybe this could be my bold prediction too. He could possibly fight if he wins, has another good year this year for the featherweight or flyweight title, and that's none other than St. Louis's own Charles Johnson. I really think he could. He's at that 14-15. He's 4-0 last year, and if he could continue that success and win 2 more, and then you've won 6 in a row at that flyweight division, that could very open up for you for a title fight.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know, I had him pretty high on a lot of my lists last year, mainly, you know, for the 4-0. You know, I understand that, you know, some of his wins weren't that high up, so it didn't go like as highly noticed as Buckley or anything. But yeah, no, I completely agree with that one. And yeah, I mean, the Fighting Nerds, I feel like you can pick anyone in that camp and they're going to be a strong candidate. Another honorable mention I had was someone who's fighting next week that I think he will be a star, and you know, everything just keeps getting built up, and that would be Peyton Talbot.
Yeah. Yeah. He is a guy that I think they seem to be high on. And here's a guy too, and maybe I'm just feeling it because you know, Missouri, but how about my guy here, Sean Woodson? He's a featherweight. He's got quite a few big knockouts. He's 4 wins by knockout. He's on quite the run right now. He's 13-1. So he's actually won his last 3 or 4 in a row here, and he just needs like a signature win to kind of get in those rankings. He was kind of on that 15 cusp. So he fights up next year. I think if he wins two or 3 in a row, we could see him in the top 10 by the end of the year. So Sean, watch out for Sean Woodson.
Hey guys,
another dude who had an insane year for sure.
let's. Yeah, are you ready? You want to do it? You're supposed to. You forgot what you're supposed to say already. Everybody. This is BJ. As you can see, he's out here ready to get his MMA career started in the house. So he's got his gear on. What'd you say? The guy with the glasses. The one. Remember the one with the glasses? Say it. Oh wow! Who told you that? Is Kyle Barrow a candidate for breakout fighter of the year? He thinks
I'll
so.
absolutely allow it because he, especially when you see the path, he's definitely kind of right higher in the rankings where he'll be fighting the upper class, but he's getting no easy fights from here on out. So if he keeps winning, absolutely he could be breakout fighter of the year.
I think his ears were he. Of course, Bakken was talking about fighting nerds, and he was like, "What about the one with the glasses?" I said, "Okay, get that. The kid saves the day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, BJ, very much for participating. You want to
BJ had a better breakout fight of the year than you did, Whit. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah, those are. I mean, those are, and there'll be. Like I was telling Bobby off air, like. Nobody at this time knew this time last year who Carlos Paredes was, and now look at him. He's a legit welterweight contender, so a guy who's on the cusp. So if there's somebody like that'll break through, we could who knows. So, but very much so. What's the next? You guys want to do female fighter of the year? Go ahead, Bobby.
Last year, or I guess last week, I went with Dakota Ditcheva from the PFL, and that was mainly because the fights that I saw in the UFC did not get made, and I do think there is a chance that the fights we want can get made. And because of that, I will say, and this might be some low-hanging fruit, but I will go with Kayla Harrison, and that will be not only because she beats Juliana Pena, but she also beats Amanda Nunes.
That's like a bold prediction and all at the same time. I got that's kind of my men's. It's like a bold prediction / my men's. What goes into my men's? What about you, Whit? Who's your female fighter of the year that's going to be this year?
Is my mic on? Is it? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought I had it on mute. Okay. So this is another one where while I was able to talk and think about it, right? You go to the bottom. There are a couple names that jump out as far as having some activity in the past year and a half. And I know that I'm trying not to just be speaking of the two. One of the names, of course, is one that's already everybody has an idea about. But is there a way that she can become breakout fighter of the year, even though last year wasn't her best? She hasn't fought in maybe a year in between there. So let's just see how much we get a chance to see this fighter, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking about Menen Firo, if I'm not saying that correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so sometime on there, I got a chance to watch one of those fights because, of course, she's got the fight with Erin Blanchfield coming up, or that just took place in March last year. We saw the Rose Namajunas. I was wondering, like, as I was thinking about just people in general, what the really long break was, and I found out that she was recovering from injury that took place in the Namajunas fight. So her name was still in my head as someone to bring up in conversation. So I'm wondering what type of activity she'll be involved in, because of course that division is one of the ones you got to keep an eye on for women, because they're almost interchangeable between like 1 through 4. You know what I'm saying? And then of course you mess around and you get a good win or even a good loss from the champ, Shevchenko, she could basically slide into being a top contender at least at 2 or 3. But you still got to worry about Zhang Wei Li and Alexa Grasso, but she's got the resume to make a really good standpoint for in 2025. Even though the activity wasn't that big in the last 2 years, she's got the resume, and some of the big fights on her career are wins. So that's why I thought about her in this case.
My female fighter of the year, and this will kind of prelude into next week's show or episode, or no, I guess in a couple months. It's not next week. But my female fighter of the year is going to be Tatiana Suarez.
She is. I wanted to do it, but I was saving it. So
I went back and forth with her and Kayla. So I was like, Kayla was my 2000. The only reason I went with Tatiana because I picked Kayla this past year. So I'm going to go with Tatiana. I think she wins the title next month. She'll defend it at least one more time. She'll be 2-0. And I think that'll be enough probably to get her over the top and be female fighter of the year. So Tatiana Suarez is my female fighter of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been excited for a female fight since Nunes Cyborg as much as that one. So yeah. I'm really glad they got that done. And, the main reason I picked Kayla ahead of it was just more the health factor. I'm a little bit uneasy about because it appears to me that the UFC wanted to give her the title shot. She was having trouble staying healthy. And then they said, oh, fuck it. Let's just give her the title shot and see where we can go from there. I got absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. I wish they would do that in other circumstances to kind of speed things along. But that is one of the things that I had circled for possible new champs as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about new champs a little bit too as well before we kind of look at each division. Whit, what about you? Who is your? Oh, wait, that was I just gave my fighter of the year. Huh? Anybody got any other than those? That was I feel like those three for sure.
Those were the big ones.
Another one that Whit could probably help me with the name. Top of my head, I can't have no. It's the Joker, the gal who lost.
Wong's her name. Wong.
Yeah, Wong.
Yeah.
So,
the doctor, her parents don't know.
They got very high expectations. It's no secret that they want to do her versus Valentina down the line. And, that's why we love the sport. She was a huge favorite, and she ended up losing. And now it's kind of how will she bounce back? And if she's able to, knock off a good 3 performances in a row, that'd be the one that I say could do it. That is not winning a title or like fighting for the title.
Yeah. She's got to bounce back. Got a big one bounce back here in a couple weeks.
That's the one that my mom and dad didn't know she was a fighter. She's like a doctor on the side.
No, that's not Wong. No, Wong is that's a different one though. I know who you're talking about. That's not Wong because Wong lost in she was a heavy favorite. Yeah, she's the Joker. I know who you're talking about though. That's the doctor. That's not the leader.
Yeah. I was like, I was looking for her name, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, because I remember that story. Her mom and dad didn't know she was fighting. They thought she was supposed to be at home or something, and they show up. She's in a UFC match. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out this year.
I want her premiere fight to be in the Apex, and mom and dad be sitting cage side.
Right next to the action.
That'll probably happen for sure. Let's get into our male fighter of the year. Who's your male fighter of the year?
Male fighter of the year, man, and of course, this one can be anybody, right? Because
yeah.
People All right, but really though, male fighter of the year, I'm excited to see what this person is going to do because it's kind of like an inevitable train is in the works right now, we have to see maybe one or two, like kind of one or two fights got to take place, and it's just going to be an opportunity for uh them to just slide up and possibly be once again a contender for the belt. And I'm gonna just slide out there and just say, my guy, Nasruddin Imamov, man. I don't know why I feel like he's been getting the short end of a
You
lot of.
think that means you got to think he's going to be Izzy in
I,
February?
I don't know, because even
If you're picking him to be male fighter of the year, he got to be Izzy. Like that's
and that's my point. I don't know why I have a funny feeling about that fight in February. And it's a big fight in February. It's not a pay per view.
When we pick Izzy on the fight, when we pick the fights, I'm gonna play it back.
I don't know, and I'm afraid of this. I feel like this is a trap fight for Israel. Even though it's a comeback fight, I feel like it's a trap. Will he win? Will he prevail? There's an idea in my mind that somehow, some way, this is one of the ones everybody has one, man. And I think Israel is just going to have one of those wake up moments, and he's not going to have it in enough time to beat Nasruddin Imamov.
That's 3 in a row.
But sometimes great fighters have these skids. I think that Israel's going to come back after this and be great. But Nasruddin Imamov has been looking really crispy with these last couple wins. Of course, with Doladies, I thought that was a really good one. Of course, he got the majority on that one. He got Cannonier. I really thought he was going to do Cannonier in the first place anyway. And of course, we've got like a little gap in between that. So somewhere in there, I think if we really want to put a name out there to catapult him, if he beats Israel Adesanya, right?
If he beats Izzy, he's got a title shot next, like after Hamzat.
There goes my point. Now what happened? Now what happens after that? I don't know. Maybe we get an eliminator in between there. I don't know.
I'm not hating it. Oh shit, lost him. I wasn't hating on that. That's a good. It's just a lot. I feel like has to happen for him. But
yep, it's a perfect setup though, because he's fighting early in the year in February. Yeah. So it's definitely, he has the card in the deck to pull it off for sure.
Yeah.
And when that fight got booked, I was crediting Izzy for taking it, because that is a dangerous contender. And if he did lose, it would be his third loss. But keep in mind, 2 of those are title fights. So, when you're fighting at the top there, it's can only go one way.
It's slim pickings. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And thank you, Bobby, for holding it down. When it happens, if it is to be a loss for Israel Adesanya,
I like it. I was saying I like it. It sets up, and that's like a bold prediction mix in it. Mine will be too with male fighter of the year. Like I like what you're saying. It's a lot has to happen where, like, I mean, man, that's a bold one. That's a bold one. I like it though.
I'm an Izzy fan, but I really feel like he's going to take a tough hit and
you're really asking him to be Izzy, and then either DDP or Hamzat or somebody like that. And I mean, he does that. I shit. Even with the 2 wins, that's pretty big. And that's a tall ask.
Right, yeah, man.
Of anybody,
the category where it's got to be. There's got to be Hamzat, and then if he goes if Hamzat and DDP are right there in his wheelhouse, I think he makes it just a bit scary, just a bit.
I like it. Bobby, what about you?
Well, I could take this a couple different ways. I intentionally wrote down 2 because I didn't know. I had a good feeling I was going to say mine, and you were going to be. That was your 2024 fighter of the year. It can't be the same person.
I mean, you got
but so we can get to him in a minute. Let's build the suspense here. Let's go with the first one first.
Okay.
And I think this all legitimately happens. One matchup, I will hold off until we go over the other category to build some suspense. But Umar Nurmagomedov, or I can't pronounce the last name for shit. But legitimately, I think he beats Merab, and I think he gets 3 title fights in this year, and then. I kind of want him to at least defend the title twice, but I do see a kind of interesting scenario where he could undoubtedly be the fighter of the year if he is able to pull off the victory after winning against Merab and getting another title defense. So, I know 4 title defenses is extremely unrealistic, but this might be maybe early 2026. We might be building for this, but it's just because of with the way the division is. I've kept the suspense long enough. So I think he will beat Merab, he will beat Figgy, and he will beat either Sean O'Malley, or depending on how the UFC wants to go with this, he will beat Alexander Pantoja coming up.
He's not fighting. He's not fighting Figgy because Peter Yan just beat Figgy, so Yan would get the shot.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, they're all interchangeable.
Sean. Yeah, dog. You're gonna beat everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you got. So Merab, not Merab, but Umar is your fighter of the year.
Yeah. The only person I have questions of if he could beat is not in his division. And the only thing that has me iffy about it is this talk about him possibly being injured, but there's so much of that shit, it's really hard to believe. So I have him and Ilya pretty much in tier 1 and tier 2.
Okay.
And I could do the same thing with Ilya, but we'll have plenty of time to get to that.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you my prediction for it's my bold prediction / male fighter of the year 2025 will be at International Fight Week. Will be headlined by none other than John Jones and Tom Aspinall.
Uh-oh.
The winner will be and new heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. Aspinall will have the heavyweight title. And then at Madison Square Garden, just a few months later, headlined by none other than Tom Aspinall via Alex Pereira for the heavyweight title.
Ooh.
And the winner in my male fighter of the year will be Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall will have beaten John Jones and Alex Pereira in 2025, and he will be fighter of the year, and he will be heavyweight champion, baby.
Yeah, when you said bold prediction, you didn't say you wrote that down when you were smoking, right? You just now I'm your boy, and I love. I've
been on the whole time since this show's creation.
You're right, and I'm not saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think that that's a really bold prediction. That
it's no more bolder than yours. Yours is.
We go out on this show. We go on a limb, but being John and then Alex, all right, maybe the John, but scary season is when Alex Pierre gets in there and they go toe to toe. I like it though, man. Great, I love that. I love that take.
That's my bold prediction / 2025 male fighter of the year. Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, right. I mean, I had that down in storylines over fights.
Okay.
And it just occurred to me there's a decent chance that John Jones might be my male fighter of the year, depending on what happens. Because I could see a scenario.
If he does my storyline and he beats Aspinall and then fights Pierre and beats Pierre, he's fighter of the year. John Jones would be.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
40,
He's
40 years
extremely
old.
fucking rich too. 'Cause I mean, that's kind of the elephant in the room. Why, to me, that's like the most obvious. Like, we obviously all want to see it and stuff like that. And that's don't want to sound pessimistic, but it's why I don't know. I'm up in the air. Very hopeful it happens.
You guys want to talk about fights you want to see made? I was just going to go through each division and talk about each fight, a fight or two in each division. Or let's do storylines first before we do that. So, Bobby, I'll start with you. Like, what 2025 storyline is going to be like the key storyline we're talking about or headed into this year?
I think it's literally what we just talked about. Will the UFC pay John Jones? I mean, I can't put it any more blunter than that. Not to dismiss Tom's side in it, but Tom already pretty much said he's in, and he would, fight for whatever. And I do see a scenario where it definitely ends up happening. I do not buy for a second the Twitter troll that got Joe Rogan on that 30 million thing. I don't think any of those discussions are even close to happening yet. I did like your shout on International Fight Week. I think if this does happen, that is when it does. And if it does not happen by then, pretty much the writing is on the wall.
If it doesn't happen, then it'll either happen in MSG. If it doesn't happen in MSG, it's not happening at all.
I think if it doesn't happen,
those are the two deadlines to me.
Yeah, I think if it doesn't happen International Fight Week, it's not happening because they are pivoting. Like, the only thing the UFC has to go up against John Jones is to tell them, if you don't want this fight, we're just gonna book Pereira and Aspinall. That is the only trump card, no pun intended, that the UFC has to play. I really, I don't know, the $30 million figure is where I'm a little up in the air on it. But I just think it's going to be a storyline that we are going to be talking about through most of the year and stuff. And a lot of my other storylines are kind of about the business and almost out of the UFC. Like, will the UFC have any competition, period? I know a lot of people talk about how, they already don't. But, I know they haven't had an event yet. But will the GFL outlast the PFL, which is now doing
that's my
$500,000
like
tournaments?
how many events will the GFL have in 2025? Over, under, 1.5.
But I think a lot of it, and I really hope this does not happen, but I think a big precursor to this year is going to be going into the new TV rights deal. So they're pretty much using this entire year to get that number up and inflate it. So you would say, how would you do that? Well, you do John Jones, Tom Aspinall. What I'm concerned about is, do they try to milk that into 2026? I don't think they can, because Tom obviously needs a fight. But, I don't know what other like huge blockbuster fight they're going to be able to show off saying, hey, we got this, we got that. No one gives a shit about Conor fighting KSI in India. Like, he's old news. I'm sorry. Like, yeah. It's, it might get like the casual fan interest up and talking about Conor McGregor. But like, when you go to like proven stars, it's like those guys that are like on the cusp. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, to see how it's, how that TV rights deal is going to kind of play out throughout the year. Is it going to affect any booking or anything like that? And hopefully it doesn't, and we end up getting everything we want. And 2025 is just as good, if not way better, in 24.
What about you, Whit? Is there like any storylines that you are tracking that you're kind of interested to see what plays out here in this year?
First off, I want to throw this to Bobby. Like, bro, I like what you're thinking. I like the way you're thinking on that one. The one thing I'm gonna throw out there is I follow a lot of stuff on UFC on Instagram and Twitter. So John Jones is making a real life decision to become an action star, like doing Jason Statham esque, his own stunts type stuff. He's filming a movie right now where he's playing like a spec ops military guy. He's in like he got pictures on IG in full camo with M16s and things of that nature, shooting and pulling his own stunts. It's on Instagram. You can check for yourself. I think something like that will involve heavy scheduling where they're going to do like you said, and they're going to have to lock it in for 2025 because he's going to have to stop doing the movie, prep for the fight, possibly win or lose, and maybe put the gloves down and then go full time into being an action star. And I think he can do it. To be honest with you, he's got the acumen, he's got the prowess to be the big black guy that comes through and either is the gangster or maybe even the nice guy. Who knows? But I'm interested to see what he does next. Now, for me, my storyline that I'm interested in, and I think it kind of gets it gets put to the side. But as a fight fan, this is something that I hold dear to my heart because when it was first brought up, and it was really just about the baddest two guys getting in the ring and going at it. We ain't worrying about subs. We're not worried about takedowns. It's probably not going to be held in Saudi Arabia. It's got to be held like somewhere gritty, like Vegas or in Jersey or something like that. I want to see what's going to happen with the BMF belt in 2025. I want to see some real fights. Of course, we know what's going on with Max right now. You know what I'm saying, coming up for recovery. But somebody like that put the world on notice about how he gets down in the ring. Dan Hooker is out here in the streets telling people he loves fight with two swollen closed eyes. What's going to happen is he going to step up and do that. Somebody who's probably clamoring for a fight because he has been on the shelf for 3, 4, almost 3.5 years. I know y'all going to laugh when I say this. Is Michael Chandler going to get up in there and try to do the BMF? Are we going to see Chandler and Hooker somewhere? I don't know. But I'm interested in what's going to happen with the BMF belt as a whole in 20. Like, what are we going to, when are they going to put the belt on the line and they're going to make it a fight worth us watching? And I know I see everybody's interaction. I know I see the faces. But the thing is, when I think about the original BMF fights, the original ones, they would come on, man. It's let's bring a little respect back to it. Throw Dan Hooker in there. Let's have a slobber knocker, and let's get one of those Gaethje Max Holloway moments for 2025. But not with Gaethje and Holloway, but maybe Dan Hooker. And then at the same time, will this be an opportunity for us to have one last Dustin Poirier moment? You know what I mean? Like something like that. You go, hey, DP, one more BMF title belt. Whoever may win it if Max goes against Dan Hooker or something like that, they may interchange it. Somehow, somewhere they'll maybe interchange it. And we end up at the end of the year or closer to International Fight Week saying, hey, look, we throw Dustin Poirier out there one last time for one last round. We know Dustin is unfortunately one of the closest things we've had to seeing Islam Makhachev being taken out recently. But he's not going to win that belt at lightweight. We know that. But maybe we can give him some respect. He can go out on top in some way, shape, or form and win the BMF title. But hey, a man like me can dream.
I love him versus Max for a send-off fight.
Yeah,
because I really think that's almost the only call, unless they get some crazy setup.
Like Gaethje, where you throw Dan Hooker in there, and then it just be an all-out brawl.
Yeah. Real quick, my 2025 storylines. I'm kind of with Bobby's, just like, what are these other promotions going to do? What's that GFL going to look like? Are they even going to be able to have more than one event? The PFL is already cutting back on how much they're paying the tournament fighters. So what are they going to do? Are they some of these Bellator fighters that they're going to fight? Like, are they even, are they going to fight? Like, Bellator is pretty much non-existent right now. So that how that mergers can kind of continue to look. Other than that, like, as far as like the UFC, it's just like, what are they going to do this year? Like, who's gonna do what? Let's look at just some quick fights. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
One more honorable mention that I kind of left out. Do we get a UFC Saudi pay-per-view in 2025? And if we do, what does that look like? Because see what these fight nights look like in February. And hell, I mean, I don't think they'd use the precedent to use Turkey to pay Jones, because they probably have to have it there, and they want to have it in Vegas. But it's definitely something piquing my attention. And how involved is Dana White in 2025? Is it the same old same, or do we slowly see him getting ready to make his exit?
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Let's talk about some fights that we want to see. Whit kind of hit some in that lightweight division, whether it's Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, or Max Holloway and Dan Hooker, or Dustin Poirier, which he seems like there's some fight news. He's been tweeting that stuff, saying uno mas. So, but he wants to fight in Louisiana. So, when we get that, seems like they almost have the first quarter already set out a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe the second quarter or somewhere where DP hangs it up. But Bobby, I'll turn to you here. Just some we can go. We can just kind of look at, just name some fights that you want to see here.
Yeah, some of them really come down to a lot of what I had like set up for Fighter of the Year. Now this is assuming my number one. I got a number one and number two, but my number one. And obviously this is assuming that Umar wins next week, and then he busts off 2 title defenses, names interchangeable, either O'Malley, Jan, or I doubt they do a Merab rematch. But I think after he gets some, and Alexander Pantoja is going to have a few more defenses at flyweight, and they're going to want to do something to really maximize both of these guys' potential. And I think a super fight with Umar versus Alexander Pantoja would just be electric. There's a decent chance that it's probably a long play and won't be happening until 26, because we do need to see some defenses on Umar's side that's in his division. And I know everyone says I could be getting well ahead of myself, because Merab could very well beat him. But, this is a bold prediction show, so I'm not going to half-ass it.
Any other fights that we haven't talked about or named yet that you want to see? I'll just kind of stay in that bantamweight division and wait. If you got one bantamweight while we're talking about, mine's O'Malley Sandhagen. Give me that fight yesterday. That's the fight I want to see. Probably the most made this year. What about you, Whit? Is there a bantamweight fight that you want to see? We'll just kind of hit all the divisions real quick if we can.
Yeah. We're moving around a little bit, so in my mind, it's pretty much O'Malley versus anybody right now. I really have it, like, the thought process that Dana White and the UFC made him such a figure, an imposing figure, especially while holding the title. To see the type of defeat he took, to hear that he was injured but didn't say anything about it, I want to see what the bounce back is like. So it's really, for me, in bantamweight, like O'Malley versus anyone, and it could really be worth the Sandhagen, which would be which would be, in my mind, a pretty good one. But hey, who knows? And I really want to see what type of recovery he has, because a lot of times, especially in this division, bantamweight guys, when they lose the belt, don't get a chance to get back up as fast. And if they do, it takes a little bit longer, because that top 4 is damn near almost interchangeable, especially when they get rolling. So I'm interested to see that, what really goes on with Sean. So you kind of stole mine.
Yeah. What about wait? I'll turn to you real quick. For featherweight, is there a fight that you really want to see at featherweight?
Oh boy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When I'm thinking about featherweight, we're gonna. I hate to sound repetitive because it is, but are they real? Are we really gonna get Taporia Volk 3? Is that
Two,
is it
two.
2? Okay. Are we really gonna get Taporia Volk 2?
That's what's
Um,
next. It hasn't been. It's not official yet, but I
it's
think.
not, yeah. I mean, it's to me, it's another episode of, you know, this guy maybe he might be on the way out. Volk, one of the best ever to do it in the division, fighting the young bull who took it from him in one of the most convincing title wins that I've seen in a while. It's hard for me to get away from the idea that somebody like Alexander Volkanovski doesn't want some type of get back. He's a nice guy. He does really good videos on TikTok. But he's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You know what I mean? Like he's literally there. He's visible, and every time you hear someone else talk about it, they are saying, "Yo, Volk needs that. That's what Volk needs. Give it to Volk." You know what I'm saying? And so, in my mind, the idea of that not happening maybe in 25 somewhere if we get all the way through 2025 and there is no Volk Taporia 2, will we be satisfied in that division?
No,
Yes.
I mean you Bobby will be. I think we're gonna get it. So
No,
uh,
I think it. I think they're going to announce it. If they're not doing it in Spain, I think they do not book Pereira. I think there's a pretty decent chance it happens March in Vegas.
Ooh.
But I do think you know it. I do think that's the next one that needs to happen, and I do. Again, going off the Fighter of the Year thing, I was going off with Ilya. I think Ilya beats Volk a second time, beats Diego Lopez, and then probably the most anticipated fight I want to see at featherweight would be Ilya versus. Give me some assistance here with Mosar Evlov.
he
I
might
think
be next. He
technically
might be
that is.
before Diego.
I don't think the UFC would do it. I would really prefer they do that before Diego. I think that is
Diego
technically.
announced that he's in a fight camp against, but didn't announce who his opponent is. So
I think that's the most difficult fight for Ilya in that division. Just point blank, period. I mean, it kind of makes sense when you do a little bit of the MMA math and stuff. But especially when you saw all those like the scrambling and stuff with Aljo, I think it would really be a good fight, especially for Taporia to show us that he's also a legitimate grappler because he is, and I think it would just help raise his stock, and especially if he's able to lock off those three, Islam keeps smashing it up. 2026, there is a possibility that we get Ilya versus Islam.
yeah, the fight I actually want to see is the fight you said earlier, Bobby, is Ilya versus Diego Lopez. And how about you do that one in Spain? Not the Volk, but he beats Volk, Ilya, and Diego, whoever he's about to fight, should he win, and then you match those two, and you do that in Spain. That fight would be a lot of fun to me. Just real quick, we've kind of hit them all already for the most part. I just wanted to welterweight. Bobby, is there a fight you want that you would like to see that hasn't been made in welterweight?
It was already made once and we didn't get it. But Bilal Shavkat would obviously, again, the best part about welterweight right now is like 1 through 5, 1 through even 6, 7. All those people are so interchangeable with great fights. Like that division is in such a good place. I would love for them to also like try to run back Ian Gary versus Joaquin Buckley. I think that could be pretty electric. But if I can only choose one, it's the fight that I really thought we were going to end the year with. And it's just, I really hope we get to see that one next. I do think there's a small chance that that gets booked in March, because that main event right now for March is open. So they got quite a few different options. But it's really hard to go wrong at 170 here. I mean, even some of the older guys, like when they finally fight, they're very intriguing matchups at the top. Like, look where like Sean Brady is. Like, I would love a wrestler on wrestler like him versus Usman or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the more healthier divisions where it almost doesn't matter to me. It's like just give them to me already,
What about you? Is there a 170 fight you really want to see?
Oh man, when I think about a 170 fight, I'm gonna go to the bottom, man. To be real with you guys, got to give some of these up and comers a little bit of love, man. So I'm going damn near to the bottom, and I'm gonna pick up two guys that did some work, in 2024, and I think they're pretty. I think the fight will be pretty electric. You know what I mean? And even though one got a relatively easy looking win, I still think the two of them would make some good magic. I want to see Carlos Prates down there. You know what I'm saying? Smoking cigs, walking to the octagon, doing his usual thing, and somehow, some way, is there a way that we can figure out what's going to go on with more so Vincent Luque in 25 as well? It's one of those things where, of course, with them both having like two wins, the ladder is going to be climbed easily by one of them, especially if they somehow figure out a way, like a not a decision but a knockout. You know what I mean? Let's see who gets taken out. Second round. Let's really see what you're made of. One of those. Let's see what you're made of type fights. You're down here at the bottom. What is? I think it's. I just was looking at it. Hold on. Yeah, 13 and 14. You know what I'm saying? Let's break up and let's break that top 10 wide open, boys. This is your opportunity. Like co-main event status or a main event on a fight night. You know what I'm saying? I think that those two could do that.
Yeah, there's two fights that I'd like to see really outside of the title fight of Bilal and Shavkat, obviously. It's Leon versus Ian Gary, or Leon versus Joaquin Buckley. I'd like to see both of those fights. It sounds like we're getting JDM versus Leon in England in March, but nonetheless, real quick before we preview this. So last year, beginning of 2024, these were the champions: John Jones and Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland lost his, Leon Edwards lost his, Islam, Alex Volkanovski lost his, Sean O'Malley lost his, Alexander Pantoja. Then there was the women's vacant was vacant. Alexa Grasso, she lost hers, and Wei Li. I'm gonna go through the current champs. Just yes or no. Will they be at the end of the year 2025? Their division champ. All right, Whit, I'll start with you. Just yes or no. John Jones.
At the end of 25?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. At the end of 25.
Bobby? Yeah. Assuming that he doesn't count if he beats Tom and then retires. Or I mean,
then we'll have a new heavyweight champion by the end of 25. So no, that doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Then no, if that's the case. I'll
still say yes.
By December 25, will he be champion? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Then no, I'll say no, because I think no matter what, especially if he wins, I think this is his last one.
Obviously, I'm gonna say no. I already
off gate.
Bobby, we'll just keep going around. Alex Pereira, still December 25. Is he still the light heavyweight champion? Whit?
Yes, but he'll have plans to vacate and move up in December.
Bobby, is he still the lightweight champion, light heavyweight champion?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with probably. Yeah,
It's yes or no.
Well, I've been pretty on record saying I think he beats Ankalaev. I don't think there's that much of a skill gap in the wrestling to give him problems. And, that unless there's someone like coming out from the bottom and doing an upset, I think he actually might have the easiest path to maintain being champion until 26. Whether it's through how the UFC decides to book him or what. But, the only real question mark there is Ankalaev, and that'd be about it.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. DDP, is he still the middleweight champion, Bobby? Wit?
Yeah. All right, this is a tough one in my mind, but if I'm sticking by what I said, Nasruddin Imavov takes Israel, Sean Strickland magically loses. I'll say yeah, he'll still be champion December.
The opposite of what you said, because you think Nasruddin Imanov's going to win, right?
No. I think that Imavov will probably catch a title fight. Let's put that. I don't know if he beats. I don't know.
All right, DDP still the middleweight champion, Bobby, in December 26th.
I'll do a caveat here. No. However, if he does beat Strickland, the answer is yes.
You guys, it's a simple yes or no question. That's all. All you have to say is yes.
MMA. There is no simple answers.
That we're making it simple. It's yes or fucking no. I'm gonna say no. He's not. In December 26th, he won't be champion.
Wow.
Bilal Muhammad, wit, yes or no? Yes or fucking no?
Well, of course, if you do the math and you got the quadratic equation and you put the 2 on top of the 4, nah, man. Bilal Muhammad, man, I don't think so. I'm gonna go no.
Bobby,
absolutely.
What?
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be. I think I'm the only one that actually watched the Shavkat fight. I feel like it's.
We will see. We will see. Islam. Is he going to be still the lightweight champion?
Brother, Dagestan is number 1. 7 Olympic champion.
Yes or no, Wit? Yes or no?
7 Olympic champion of 2,000 people. That's large equation, brother. Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and let's lock it in. I don't know. We didn't even. We got to get to it, but are we thinking Sarukian's taking him?
That's next week. That's next week's show.
Next week's show, but if not the power of someone who could out wrestle him because they're stronger than him physically, who else is going to take him out? I got to say, yeah, he's still going to be champ.
Bobby?
See.
Yeah. Yes. Ilya Taporia, featherweight champion.
December, Ilya. Yeah, I'm going to go on that one for sure.
Bobby?
That a serious question. Yes.
He was going with that.
Hold on. That'd
be the one I'm most confident in too.
Well, you were real confident in Bilal.
He'll get 3 title defenses next year.
Well, hey, listen, Shavkat
Marab with
Marab. I'm gonna say yeah, man. I'm gonna disagree with Bobby. I think that the Umar fight will be his toughest test, but I think he'll outpoint him. It'll be by decision. It'll be split
next week when he picks. When I
go the other way with Umar, right? Yeah.
Bobby, we already know you're saying no. You already picked.
Well, I question if he'll even be on the roster in 2026.
Dang!
Hot take.
You think he's gone?
That's a hot take. I don't think
they're
he'll be
doing
beaten.
him no favors, man. It is. I think the only one they dislike more than him is Aljamain Sterling.
They dislike Marab because of Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, they hate Marab because of Al.
Don't help.
Alexander Pantoja, Wit.
This is another one. Like who comes up and beats Pantoja right now, and with the way that the division is set is one of my.
He's beat him all.
That's what I'm saying. Like who is going to come up and beat him? He's done everything. They brought somebody else to beat him. Didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go. Yeah, he's still gonna be champ.
Bobby.
Who again?
Alexander Pantoja.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I want to say no, but I can't bet against him anymore, so I'm gonna say yes. That means we're gonna have to fucking repick all these guys every time he fights.
Yeah. I just don't know who. To Witt's point, I don't know who has anything for him at 125.
Yeah.
Witt, they're planning on bringing in new guys.
Right.
Juliana Pena. Is she still a champ?
Juliana Pena, still a champ. In December, by December, they're gonna have to revisit the one thing that we all want to see, right? We're gonna have to see Kayla get in there one time, right? So,
what up, Jim?
I'm gonna go no. I'm gonna go no, man. We're gonna have to put the strap on the line one time and put Kayla out there, bro.
What about you, Bobby?
No.
I'm no too. Valentina, the Bullet, still champ, still flyweight champ in 26. Wait.
Flyweight. Damn, this is another one. For me, I think she gets one more and puts it down.
Ooh, so you gotta say no, right?
Yeah. I think she gets a fight and puts it down. Like she's not going to be the champ in December, but she will have another fight.
So the answer to the question is no.
Yeah, the answer to the question is no. I don't think she loses magically, but I got
you. You know, I'm just giving you a hard time. What about you, Bobby?
No.
I'm gonna say no too. And the last one, Wei Lee.
Yeah, I think she's gonna hold it down. Yeah, Willie. I'm riding with that one in December.
Bobby,
does the BMF count, or are we not doing that?
No, I didn't do the BMF.
Okay. Come on, the BMF has to mean something again. That was my storyline of the year.
I can only say one word, so I guess I'll say no. But that's such a 50-50 for me. Like, I'm not trying to go into it, but I mean, we'll break it down in a few weeks. But
yeah,
I'll probably have a different
I'm saying no. Yeah. It's all good. That's why we're just making predictions here. It's fun. Let's look at speaking of predictions real quick. Well, let's look at the UFC. It was an Apex 101 or something. I don't even know. It is headlined by none other than Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Hebus. The rematch that is Mackenzie Dern is the dog on the card at plus 160. Got Amanda Hebus at minus 190. A couple other good fights on this card. We'll just pick the main event, but I just want to highlight a few other good ones. Chris Curtis and Roman Kopylov is on this card. Santino Pazabit, say his last name, Pazanibio, and is on the card as well. Not the greatest in numbers, but nonetheless, after going through the dry heaves and sometimes you got to have a slump buster every once in a while, Bobby. So, what's your thoughts on this card? And go ahead and pick the main event.
I mean, there are people frothing from the mouth in the fantasy MMA league that can't wait to watch this because they got some fighters on it. I think it will take us perfectly into starting the year off and stuff. And whenever they have them built like this, these always end up being like those really sleeper cards that we like never see coming. So especially with the hiatus, I definitely think it's going to deliver in that. And
tough going up against the NFL though. Like they're going to be going up against the NFL.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of it being on ESPN Plus. Who says I have to watch it live?
True that.
But I can't wait for Saturday. Actually, more Sunday. But getting off topic here. Yeah, that fight. Yeah, I would have probably heavily favored Amanda, and Mackenzie looked a little bit better in her last performance. But if I'm picking, I would probably lean towards Amanda, mainly just like for the striking. But I don't know. The more and more I think about it, Mackenzie was at a media day with her emotional support dog. She seems like she's in a very good place. So fuck it. Give me Mackenzie Dern.
Ooh. Hey, they did fight way back in 2019. Amanda Hebus got the win. Your thoughts on this card, and who you picking the main here?
All right, so let's just go to something before I do the main. Just a ramble a little bit. So real quick, Chris Curtis, Roman Kopylov, that one. I think that's an interesting one. Shout out to Chris Curtis, the action man. Somewhere here in the streets, they got on Tap Off, one of my favorite places to get information for MMA. You got it there. They got 77% for Kopylov. Curtis down 23% on this one. Somehow, some way. Let's see if the big dog, the action man, Curtis pulls this one out. Kopylov is up and coming though, so we got to keep an eye out for him for sure. And another one, man. Young guys on this card. A lot of young guys, a lot of young talent. Bobby said it. Somehow, some way, these cards accidentally turned into a lot of action. That featherweight fight, a little bit down, a little ways down. We got two guys to keep an eye on that made a name for themselves. We got Austin Bashi and Christian Rodriguez. I'm liking young Bashi, the young guy, the young American, somehow, some way, doing his thing out of Michigan. Big time wrestling in this fight is what they're predicting. So I'm going with Bashi on that one. But then Mackenzie Dern, man. You gotta win one for the home team, man. So I shout out to her and people with some emotional support animals. I couldn't bring my dog on a plane. My dog would like piss on people or something. So, but I like shout out to Mackenzie Dern, and I'm rocking with that one on for the win.
You said Amanda or Mackenzie Dern? Who'd you say? You said Mackenzie Dern.
Say what?
I ended up going with Mackenzie. I think it's gonna be like right then, like very, very close because they both know each other. But it's why not go Mackenzie Dern there? And
I'm writing them this year. I'm gonna write them down and see what our record is. Who picks the most right this year?
We're counting fight nights. God, I got to put more effort into the fight night.
Just the main. We're just pretty much doing, cards like this. We're going to do the main events a little bit deeper. We'll do a little bit deeper ones. But yeah, any picks that I just decided right now, which means probably by next week after I realize I got to write down everybody's shit, I'll probably quit and fucking.
We just get a Microsoft Word file going. That's what we do. That we can make it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you make me want to go Amanda.
It's I'm looking at both of them. Amanda has her last like 5 is lost, win, loss, win, loss. So when she lost to Rose back in March of 24, and then I'm looking at Mackenzie Dern. It's like the same as she won. She beat Godunez, but had two previous losses before that. Then she had a win. It's crazy because their records are so damn similar. 14-5, 13-5. Like Amanda does have the unanimous win previously before this. I don't know. Mackenzie does seem like she's like doing well, like has a little pep in her step. Seemed like she's man. I just don't know. Both of these
Big
ladies.
question mark for me on this is also they moved this because like this originally, they pulled this off another event and made it 5 rounds. So
yeah, Dern is 6 and Hebus is 8. So it's like you can tell, like it's like perfect matchmaking. Now I'm not, too keen on it being the main event. It is what it is. But I'm gonna go opposite, baby. I'm either going one above you or not. I'm just I'll go Hebus on this one, just to be different. So
yeah, I think Chris Curtis and Roman is easily a fight of the night candidate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be a banger. Whit, any final thoughts or anything before we get up out of here?
Oh yeah, real quick. Something I wanted to throw out there. So we were doing bold predictions for 2025. Here goes one. We're gonna figure out a way to get a fight between two fighters. We gotta make some mention of course, in boxing. Right now, I think it's a possibility that the paperwork has been slid to both of them by unknown sources. I'm talking about Crawford and Canelo. That's really something that we want to keep our eye out for. It's supposedly in the works right now. So when they say something like that, we're still 4 or 5 months away from having a significant date. I'm excited about that. And then of course we got some fights coming up in the next couple months, man. We Crawford back in the ring. Excited to see that. We get to see the Mexican monster back in the ring. Yeah. What's going to happen with some of the guys that really took losses? It's been on the Twitter sphere, several different boxing Twitter sites, social media sites and social media accounts on not only Instagram but Twitter have been having a poll, and two of them had the anticipated fight of 2025, one of the most anticipated fights of 2025 that should be made, fights that should be made, definitely should be Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. I know we're removed maybe 4 or 5 years from when it was going to be a big money lineal champion title unification bout, but in terms of European boxing status, you still have those as even though taking tough losses in 2020. And last but not least, one last person I got to mention. What is PFL going to do for Francis? What is going to happen? Are we going to find somebody for Francis to fight? Is PFL going to, evolve one of their heavyweights to be some type of competition for a Francis Ngannou fight? PFL has to do something. What is it? GPL? Is GFL? Is ringing the bell to basically make a name for itself as second tier, and right now PFL has to become the competitive source for some secondary type fights, some where we can say there is just this much competition for the UFC. So what is PFL going to do with Francis? And that's it. That's all I got.
Right on. Bobby, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Who's Francis going to box?
Hey, or does he put he has too much time on his hands because PFL can't get anybody to fight him in the ring and he boxes.
Yeah,
well, for me, it's like I know Francis probably has his set deal and he's going to make his money either way. But I do wonder if him seeing the $1 million tournament all of a sudden being the $500,000 tournament. Does he not see the writing on the wall? Does he just get that one fight over with so he can go somewhere else? But Francis is hopefully we get to see something for him in 25.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, hey, that's the show. This concludes this episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. We previewed the year of 2025, and next week we'll preview UFC 311. 311.
Legitimately might be card of the year when we talk next December.
Three big fights at the top. 3 big fights. I'm excited, guys.
I mean, that card has it all. It's none headlined by other than Islam via Arman Sarukian. The co-main is Merab versus Umar. That press conference is going to be wild. We already saw Umar and Merab back in December, just going at it. I enthusiastic about it, but nonetheless, we'll be here break it all down next week, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern. So tune in for another episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. We'll catch you guys next week. For my guy Whit, Bobby, I'm Bodkins. See y'all next week. Be a friend, tell a friend.
Enjoy the pecs.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.